Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. This kind of came across my desk. Check it out. So I had a homie ask me a question about, basically his question was asking me how I overcame my fear of getting married. He assumed I had a fear. I thought about it. So here's what I came up with. I wasn't afraid of getting married as I entered into my mid 20s. But before that, I didn't have any belief in marriage in that I didn't think it was going to happen. I always knew I wanted to, but I never knew if it would happen specifically to me. That's just my opinion, whatever. Some of y'all can feel it, some of y'all can't. But basically, this is a bigger question. The bigger question is, why are men afraid to get married? Why are men afraid to get married? Let's get into it. So I would say there's the few main reasons. The first reason is, what happens if the marriage fails? Right? That's that, right? You lose a relationship. It's a long process. It's hard to go through, the divorce procedure, right? The other thing is what happens financially to you after a divorce. And also how, loyalty, right? How loyal is the person that you're with? So let's put that into perspective, right? So I'm pretty sure all of you guys, this is just, like I said, this is just my opinion and based off of the discussions that I have. A lot of men I know, I would say most men I know, all different levels, regular guys, young Casanovas, all that. A lot of these guys, the women that are approaching them have boyfriends, like active boyfriends. I'm not sure how well the boyfriends are handling stuff or whatever, but a lot of these dudes are side dudes. Now you could ask the question, no, you could say, man, why would you be a side dude? And that's not an upstanding thing to be. That's not that's not a positive thing to be, as a side dude. And that's true. It's not, I don't recommend it. It's not, you know what I mean? It's a 0 out of 10. I don't recommend. I get it. But if you have, as a man, if you have all these women coming to you and 8 out of 10 of them have boyfriends already, and they're the easiest to pull, you go, especially if you're not looking for a relationship, you go crack. You go crack and you go do your stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's a reality. I'm being honest, it's in a man's nature. Well, especially when we're young, we want something to do. We want a young lady to hang out with and you know what I'm saying, and be intimate with. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just put that out there and be honest. We're not gonna sit up here and sugarcoat nothing. So you got a lot of dudes that are like, man, why would I want to be a boyfriend if all these boyfriends, all their girlfriends are with me on the low? And that's a good question. That's a good question. I'm gonna keep it real. That's a really good question. The answer is, I don't know. I don't know. So that's my answer to that. When it comes to, finances and all that type of stuff, that type of stuff is I would say from numbers, I'm not sure if this year they cracked the numbers, but recently I would say the most popular reason for divorce, like number one, and you would think it's infidelity, but it's actually finances. It's actually finances. It's you know what I'm saying? We'll pretend and say, you know what I'm saying, because women seem to think men change when they don't make money. I don't know, whatever. But nonetheless, what I would say it is the man's making less money and becomes less of a provider, and it kind of becomes less wanted by her. Less, she doesn't look at him the same way anymore because it doesn't provide as well. Right? That's another thing. And you don't know as a man if that can happen. You have no idea. You don't know. The only thing you can do, is hope that's not the type of time she's on. That's all you can do. You don't know if that's how she's gonna look at stuff. You don't know. You would hope as a man, your value is a lot higher than that. But I'm gonna be honest with you. Most men will tell you that in their experience, they have never been as valued as a man as, they've never been that valued unless they have money. Or unless they were up at that time, right? You get money at that time, whatever. You got a good job at that time, whatever. When money starts to dwindle, or if you don't have, you gotta at least make more than her. If you're not doing that, if she happens to still date you, there'll be some issues there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men will report that. At this time, at this point in time, when it comes to relationships, especially these days, I think it's important to be honest and speak the real. Men don't really talk about things that we go through in relationships. That's why you see us hop on comments on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and voice our opinions, because we feel a little bit more safe behind a keyboard when we're talking about it, rather than, because a lot of the times you express your feelings, somebody gonna call you sassy or weak or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just the reality of it. Men do it to each other, and women do it to us. So, like I said, it'll be that way for the foreseeable future, especially when you got people, those men that are calling you weak for expressing your feelings or something like that. Usually, those men, it aggravates them to see somebody express feelings. So they just get in attack mode to kind of throw that shit off. They don't like it. But it's hard for men to talk about the stuff we go through. So a lot of women don't know we go through it. To them, it's make believe. It doesn't happen. But I feel like we sit in this world of, men do this and that's it. Women do this and that's it. And we don't listen to each other's stories. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to bring up the whole side of, a lot of men being side dudes. Not saying they're not willingly being side dudes. Nobody's taking advantage of us. I'm just saying, if a lot of these women have boyfriends and you can still do your thing with them, what makes you want to be a boyfriend? Like, why would you think that girl that you're with is any different? You don't know. So there's that's a lot of where the fear comes. So that's a lot of the fear that comes with this, is you don't know. You have no idea. You don't know. You hope, but you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's the fear. And we talked about financially, right? And another thing is emotionally, right? Because here's the thing. You have to be able to, as a man, nobody champions our feelings. We have to champion our own. And 9 times out of 10, we don't do that. So you have to hope that the person that you're with, you can express your feelings and not get stepped on. Because when you get stepped on, you do crazy, you know what I mean? A lot of crazy arguments, a lot of divorces and stuff like that happen. So a lot of issues in marriages that we see end in the same way. Y'all break up. She make it seem like it's your fault. And I'm talking about the situations where it's not your fault. You know what I'm saying? She'll make it seem like it's your fault. You guys divorce. She takes half your stuff, and now you're supposed to rinse and repeat. So, a lot of this comes down to who you pick. You know what I'm saying? You got to be picky. You know what I'm saying? You got to pick, women, quality women. You have to. And let's be real, picking a quality partner is, I would say, out of all that, the hardest thing to do. That's the hardest thing to do. Because a lot of us, we all look kind of the same in a sense, right? These days. And I'm not talking about black people, I'm talking about in general, right? A lot of us we're trying to look like the kind of person, we're trying to look like the kind of person, you know what I'm saying, that will want to date, that women will want to date. So then we all end up looking like the same person. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. And I'm talking about all across the board, all races. We all end up there's like maybe 3 acceptable looks. and you just got to find your way in one of them. You see, I got dreads. That's one of them, right? Some girls like that, whatever. You get what I'm saying, though, right? And if y'all watch there's that Pop the Balloon and Find Love. If y'all watch that, then you see it. Like there's a particular look that women are going for. There's a particular look that men are going for. But I wanted to just come out, man, and just keep it real with everybody and really put it out there on the table of why I think men are afraid to get married. If you are scared that you will get cheated on because you haven't developed the trust for women, because the women that you've been around they're not trustworthy, it's hard to know when you're with somebody that's trustworthy. And I think to an extent that's hard to do anyway. You're supposed to go through a process where you find out. That's what dating's for. But a lot of times you do that. You date. Oh, you have a boyfriend. Okay, you want me to be your side dude. Okay, well, I'm not about to pay for everything if I'm your side dude. It's a back and forth. And like I said, this is from a man's perspective. It's from a man's perspective. This is not an attack on women or nothing like that. This is from a man's perspective. This is what we deal with. This is what we go through. And if you're a woman watching this, I would listen and try to understand and learn as opposed to push back on it. This is not your story. This is our story. You know what I'm saying? So, and I listen to issues women have all the time. I mean, I have ears. You know what I'm saying? I be on social media and all that. So, like I said, the vast majority of the information you hear about dating is from women with the woman's point of view and perspective. The majority of the time is you won't hear men talk about that because a lot of men have not been championed in that area, and a lot of men are not told that their feelings are valid and their opinions are valid, so you won't get a lot of it. So we're scared to lose our money, whatever we work for. It doesn't matter how much, oh, you're not rich. Why would you even worry about it? I don't care if I work at McDonald's. Half of my money is half of my money. You have to survive. You have to eat. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay bills. I know dudes that's on child support and all kind of stuff, right? They barely make any money. Child support's a different story, but when they garnish your wages or they're taking half of your stuff, that's half of almost nothing. Half of almost nothing leaves nothing. let's keep it a bill. So in terms of, losing money, that's a fear. Loyalty, right? Disloyalty, that kind of stuff. Getting cheated on, being two-time, looking stupid at the end of the day. That's tough. That's tough. You don't know where to go. Us losing our money, right? Or not making, or losing our job, any little thing happening, right? And these things can happen anytime. Losing a job or something like that, you're scared to lose your job, not because you're low on money, but you're scared to lose a job and lose your wife. Those things don't even go together. Marriage is an entirely different thing. Marriage is a union between two people that love each other. Well, I'm gonna just say two people. Having a job isn't what gets you married. It shouldn't be. But in the day and age we're living in, like that's how life is going for a lot of people. That's what we're experiencing. You have to if you don't uphold a job and you don't make X amount of dollars, then now your wife is up for grabs. And that's scary. And depending on the woman that you're with, right? There's people that come from, disenfranchised people. They come from places where they have to be a little more aggressive on who they date and how much money they have, because making money isn't an option for them, or they want to be taken care of because they don't have anything of value to give to anybody else other than maybe the body, whatever, however it goes. But that's how it is. That's the decision they make or whatever. Now, to me, regardless of how you look at it, whether you want to be a stay-at-home wife, which is perfectly fine. Any man who makes a really good amount of money, enough to have his wife stay at home, would love to have her stay at home if she wanted to. If she wanted to stay at home, he'd be down with that. Me personally, kids, family, I want to be able to just save money and stack it and create generational wealth. So I'd like to have two sources of income. But if I made very good money and my wife is like, I really want to do X, Y, and Z, my wife's the kind of wife that would make the best out of staying at home. I'm gonna just be real. But that's my personal story. You know what I'm saying? That's my personal story. I can't say that about everybody. Marriages are different. Some ladies out there don't have that great a husband. Some husbands out there don't have that great a wife. So, but me personally, if my wife wanted to stay at, now my wife's worked really hard to get into a career and all that. She's done her thing. I don't see her not doing a lot of that stuff and moving away from it, all that stuff that she worked hard for. But if she wanted to, and we felt like I made enough money to sustain that and everybody be prosperous, I'm down for her to, you know what I'm saying? I'm down. My wife is amazing. So like for me, I'm down. But there are women out there that want to be stay-at-home moms before that's their plan before you get married to them. So that has to be discussed, and that's cool. That might just mean that she sees value more in raising children and being there for the kids, and that's just fine. And making sure the household is if that's y'all decision, y'all just have to come to that decision at the end of the day. So, but again, these days, there are people, aside from that, there are people that don't have any value to bring to you. Even though they want to stay at home and be a mom at home, they don't have any value to bring. You know what I'm saying? You can't bounce ideas off of them. They don't understand finances. They don't know how to pay bills properly and all that. So there's a list of things, and we're all learning. But these are fears men have when it comes to getting married. We fear the future. We fear how things might go. We fear making one mistake and everything being stripped from us. That's our fear. I'm gonna holler at you, man.